Hi, my name is Ryan, and this is the story about how I made a stay-at-home short horror film during the global pandemic of 2020. Mostly by myself, with quite a bit of help from my beautiful wife, and using mostly the resources that I already had available to me, aside from the incredible audio library provided by Epidemic Sound, which we'll get to later. This is the making of The Worst of Fears. This video contains huge spoilers for the film, so if you haven't seen The Worst of Fears yet, I highly encourage you to go watch the film first and then come back here to see how it was made. Thank you, and enjoy. Hey guys, Ryan here. I hope you're doing well. It is Saturday the 29th, 2020, 6:29 p.m. If you're watching this, hopefully that means I have finished my newest short film, The Worst of Fears, and it's been uploaded to the channel. I'm hoping to get it done sometime near Halloween of 2020, sometime around October 31st or maybe the week before. So if you're watching this video, that means that I have completed the film, and this is the making of The Worst of Fears, the behind the scenes, if you will. It's the first time I've ever tried to do anything like this where I'm filming the making of the film while I'm making the film. I'm trying to shoot this film completely by myself as much as I can. I am going to have my wife help me out a few times here and there just to see what I can accomplish on my own during quarantine, where we can't really go out and do much and be around too many different people. I'm trying to do this as frugal as possible with using as little bit of money as possible, but I am planning on maybe, we're going to see how things go near the end, but I am planning on maybe spending quite a bit of money for the big final scene. Maybe purchasing a really fancy prosthetic or a mask or something like that to make my creature at the end of this thing kind of stand out and look really special. But we'll see how things go. Tonight we're planning on shooting the very first 3 scenes in the film, which are like an opening shot of the road as the car is driving down the road. You should be seeing that scene right now. And what I'm going to use to film that is this guy right here. This is a car mount for your camera. What it does is just you pop the suction cups on there and then tighten it down, and it sticks in place, and you can film inside your car. I will post a link to this guy below. I don't know if I would trust this mount to mount my camera to the outside of my vehicle while it's moving. I don't think it's quite strong enough for that, especially if you're using, I'm going to be shooting this film with the Panasonic GH5 and my Sigma Art 18-35 lens with the Metabone speed booster on there. So the camera itself is a little on the heavy side, but it does mount nice to the inside. It supports the camera pretty nice. So we're going to, basically the first scene is just going to be me driving down the road, the camera facing out towards the road. I'm going to show you guys some storyboards that I drew up for the scenes that should be coming up right now. But the first scene is just going to be me driving down the road. I'm going to go down some country roads here where I'm not going to meet much traffic. I want it to feel really lonely. And then we're going to get a shot of my wife driving by me down the street as I get the car as it's passing me. And then we're going to get a shot of the car as it's pulling into the driveway of the house. So that's what we're planning on shooting tonight, and we're going to see how things go. The ideas and process for this film started all the way back in January of 2020. I knew that I wanted to create a Halloween special of sorts for the channel at some point, so I started mulling over the ideas in my head back then. I've always felt like the idea of taking a shower by yourself when you're home alone late at night is a pretty scary and vulnerable position to be in. So that's really where the idea for this film started. When I first start coming up with the ideas for a film, I'll just play the ideas over and over in my head until I develop them further, basically watching the movie in my head every day while I'm daydreaming. Once I have the first few scenes played out in my head, I'll sit down and write out a shot list or draw some storyboards to get things started. Okay, action. Hey guys, so it's late at night here. I'm getting ready to film an interior car scene for the beginning of the film when the main character, which is going to be played by me, is driving down the road, and I'm getting some shots of the stereo and some interior shots of me talking on the phone to kind of set the stage for the film. Now, I am putting this in my van. I'm going to mount this guy right here. I'm going to mount my camera on this window unit here and get a close-up of the radio. This isn't actually the car that I'm going to be driving in the film, but the car that I want to use for the film is really tight on the inside, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my camera set up properly in there. So I'm going to be shooting it here in this van. It's a lot more spacious, and if I use the right kind of shots and angles, I don't think anyone's going to notice in the final film anyway. The shots that I'm going to have of me are going to be close and tight on my face and hands, and you're really not going to see much of the interior of the car anyway. So that's kind of my thought process of going through this. I'm going to get the camera mounted here. I'm actually having to take my cage and everything off here because it's just way too heavy to mount to the window here. So I'm going to get that taken off. I'm going to mount the camera up, and I'm going to drive down the road and see if I can get these shots. Okay, so after a painfully aggravating process, I finally have my cage off my camera. I really hate having to take that off because it's such a pain in the butt to get right, and I had it just where I wanted it. Anyway, I've got everything set up now. I'm going to put my Rode VideoMic Pro on the top of the camera here just to get some on-camera sound. I might overdub everything depending on how noisy or how it turns out later. But since this was such a pain in the butt to get going, I was only planning on filming one shot tonight of me just turning the radio off. But I think, what was that? But I think I'm going to get, go ahead and get two shots. I'm going to get the shot of me talking on the phone as well. So that requires me going in and changing into my costume. And we're going to see how it goes. Let's do it. Okay, I've had my wife do some makeup on me, and I've got my little shirt and tie on, which is what the character is going to be wearing in the film. And got my camera set up, ready to drive down the road and try to get these shots. Hey, it's me. I was hoping to catch you before your flight left, but I guess that didn't happen. I'm almost home now, but if you call me back tonight, I'm probably either in the shower or dead asleep. I am absolutely dead tired, and this all up. Hey guys, so we're about to film a scene with the camera set up outside, looking in as I'm looking out of an interior window. I've got a aperture light panel here. My wife is helping me get focus. I'm bouncing the aperture light off of a white bounce to kind of soften it up a little bit. I still want the light to be harsh, but I don't want it to be too bright in her face. And then outside, I've got my camera set up with this light wand here that's putting off another blue light. And I'm actually shooting through, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm shooting through this bush to kind of make the frame a little more interesting. We're going to see how it turns out. Usually when I'm making a film, I'll start editing the scenes as I shoot them. So the editing process starts really from day one. I find that editing this way gives me a better idea of where the film is headed, what shots are working and what shots aren't, and sometimes I'll come up with even more ideas while I'm editing for more scenes that I might want to shoot later. This scene here where I'm walking down this pathway is one of two shots in the film where my wife is operating the camera. All of the other shots in the film are either with the camera on a tripod or I'm holding it handheld. Usually when I'm making a film by myself and a lot of the shots are on a tripod, I will add in camera movement in post to give the effect of handheld camera movement when I think it's needed. I had had the idea early on when thinking about this film that I wanted the man to encounter different kinds of figments of his imagination around the house. And while I didn't get to film very many of these scenes, this first one here, where he opens the door and sees the Lovecraftian style tentacle monster, I had originally planned on creating the tentacles myself and doing a practical effect, but this proved to be a little bit too difficult. So I opted to use stock footage of a squid monster, which I found on Pond 5. I used the Ultra Key effect to key it out, and I blurred it a little bit with some camera blur, put it in the foreground of the image, and voila, there you have your tentacle monster hiding in the shadows. Hey, it's me. Give me a call back as soon as you get this. I'm a little bit freaked out. I came home and the door was standing wide open. Just want to make sure everything's okay. Damn it. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start rolling. This is the refrigerator scene. My wife is going to put on a black jumpsuit. It's like a full body suit, and walk around in the background while I look for something in the fridge. We're gonna time it out with some audio cues and see if we can time this scene and block it out just right. All right, let's do it. For these bathroom scenes, I actually ran into a bit of trouble when trying to light them. I don't know if it had anything to do with me wearing a white shirt, which is usually not a very good idea when you're going to be on camera. I wish I'd have went back and put on a black shirt instead. But it also could have had something to do with the actual white bathtub in the room. The light was bouncing around and bouncing off of it in different and weird ways. And I really had a hard time getting the light to look just how I wanted in these scenes. And let me just say that trying to film yourself in a bathtub and get some really cool angles and some good shots is not very easy, especially when you're actually running the water. It's really hard to operate your camera, and things are slippery, and you don't really have that much room in the bathtub itself. So the shots really didn't have much depth to them, and I wasn't really happy with the way the shots turned out inside the bathtub, but hey, I did the best I could. The sound effects and music played a huge part of this project, and I wouldn't have been able to pull it off if it weren't for the great resources at Epidemic Sound. I was able to find almost every sound effect and musical note I needed for this project except for one, and that was a squeaky bathtub sound where my main character was getting murdered and was flailing around in the bathtub. But other than that, every sound effect almost that you hear in the film, if it wasn't recorded in camera, in the shot, was obtained from epidemicsound.com, and I cannot recommend that service enough. If you are looking for high quality music and sound effects for your film, that is the place to go. They have almost everything you could possibly imagine.
I can't see you.
Okay, there we go. The killer in this film, which I haven't come up with a name for yet, if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments below, wears a mask that I purchased from Amazon.com. It's a $50, it's called a beauty mask or something like that. But yeah, that's what I wore in the film for the killer. And I actually went in and did some tracking with Mocha in After Effects, and I blacked out my eyes and kind of shadowed them up a little bit so you couldn't see my actual eyes. I thought it gave it a little bit more of a creepier look. For the gruesome stabbing scene, I actually used a real knife, which I do not recommend anyone doing. I'll probably never do this again. It was really dangerous, especially being in that wet bathtub while we were filming. But I used a mannequin or a makeup head that I had that I usually use to get focus. My intention was to cut this thing open and stick a blood pack in there, and when I stab the knife through, get a close-up of it, and when I stab the knife through, have the blood spurt out. But the blood came out way too slow, and I did not get the effect I wanted. But the stab itself actually looked usable, so I ended up using that in the film. But if I had to go back and do it again, I would probably try a different method. I'd intended on maybe filling a milk jug up with a fake blood and putting something over in front of that and stabbing through. That probably would have worked out better in the long run for the actual blood to pour out. But, you know, like everything you do, you have to kind of change things up on the fly when things aren't working. And I just settled for a different route. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a really quick scene, so you don't really get to dwell on it too long and dissect it. The skin tone probably doesn't match my skin very well, but all in all, I think it's a close-up shot, so it's really fast and not too many people are going to pick it apart. It does pull off the notion that a knife is going into something, and it makes my wife squirm, so I think it's mission accomplished. Hey guys, it is October 27th, exactly 3 days before the premiere of the film, and we actually have a few more scenes to shoot. I started editing the film probably at the end of September sometime, just putting together what I had so far. So the edit is getting really close to being finished with the footage I have. Tonight we are reshooting the refrigerator scene, and I have to shoot the very final scenes of the film where the killer is going to be leaving the house, getting in the murdered victim's car and leaving. So all in total, we have about 3 scenes to shoot tonight. I may actually reshoot some of the bathroom scenes as well. I'm not sure why, but I had a really hard time getting the lighting and the angles right in the bathroom scenes, specifically in the shower. You know, it's just a completely white bathtub, so the light's kind of bouncing around in weird ways. So I kind of ran into some issues getting the light to look the way I wanted in those scenes. So I may look over the footage today and decide if I want to reshoot some of that stuff. But other than that, we shouldn't have more than 4 shots to get tonight. So hopefully I can, you know, really put in some work these next couple of days and finish up this edit and have it ready for the premiere Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So wish us luck. It's really coming down to the wire last minute here. So, but I think we can do it. I think I can pull it off. It's going to be tough. And, you know, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the perfect film that I always envisioned in my head. You always have to make some sacrifices and change things around that you didn't intend to change around. I also have to do some audio overdubbing for a few of the lines, specifically the lines where I'm talking on the phone in the car. They're really noisy, and I'm going to try to overdub them and get it to sound right. If I can't, I will use the original audio and just try to clean it up the best I can. But hopefully I can overdub those lines and get them sounding pretty good and believable. Hey, it's me. I was hoping to catch you before your flight left, but I guess that didn't happen. Hey, it's me. I was hoping to catch you before your flight left, but I guess that didn't happen. All right, so just waiting for the sun to go down. As you can see, it's really cloudy and nasty out here today, really moody, so it kind of fits the the spooky season. So anyway, wish us luck, and hopefully we'll get this thing finished up for you guys.
All of the scenes for the film had been shot, and I was pretty happy with it. But just when I thought I was on the road home to finishing this thing, Mother Nature stepped in and seemed intent on stopping me from finishing this film on time.
Hey guys, so it is October 29th, about 11:30 in the morning. As you can see, it's really windy and crazy out here. Hurricane Zeta is moving through the area. We've got wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Pretty scary. Had a few trees fall in the backyard here, and see there's just limbs and debris everywhere. But anyway, I was in the process of putting the final touches on The Worst of Fears last night. I figured I would wake up this morning and get it done. I didn't realize how early the storm was going to be moving through. But while I was in the middle of exporting and uploading the very final edit of the film, the power went out, the internet went out. So I think I'm going to try to get out our generator and fire it up and see if I can get this thing uploaded in time for the live premiere tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I got the generator out. I'm gonna try to fire this bad boy up and finish this film.
Crisis averted. Thanks to the generator, I was able to finish editing the film, get it uploaded, and share it with the world. And after that, it was on to work on the story that you're watching right now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please check me out at ryancampfilms.com. Check out the YouTube channel. Big thanks to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this video and providing me with an epic collection of music and sound effects that I used in the film. It was absolutely phenomenal. And The Worst of Fears would have been half the film that it is today without all those awesome sound effects and the music especially. As always, I hope this video has been very beneficial to you. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Give this video a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I am Ryan, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.